All right, guys, welcome to the Arena Australis podcast, episode 2. And back on the grind, as seen by the title. Going to get into a couple of hot topics for the month, and we see how the monthly leaderboards went and how we went with our lobbies, Claire.
Hey guys, good to see you again. We had a great month last month with Labyrinth Cup. We all of our lobbies concluded on time and ran really smoothly, which we like to see. First of all, we had our Swanna lobby and we had Let's Mitchy Me victorious there, so he did a great job. Always I think an underrated battler. I've come up against him a few times, particularly in our original Oak Youngster 4 lobby, and I always used to tell him how good he is. He takes it very casually and just enjoys himself, but did really well to take out Swanna last month. Then we've got Mighty Ducklets. So Mikey Morgs was victorious there. So great win for him. Thunderdome, we had a 3-way tie. So we've got Gengineer 6, Dr. Trotter and Fresh Dog taking that out, sharing the win. So no one can actually win that outright. So very competitive lobby, that one. Then we've got Gloat. We've got a 4-way tie between Gary, Cactus, Achilles Hero and B-Dog Wyatt. So 4-way tie yet again, a really hotly contested lobby. And B-Dog Wyatt joining the winners list there in his first tournament with that lobby. So congratulations. So finally, we've got our Colossal Tournament. So most of you know that's our largest tournament for the month. And we had a 6-rounder once again for Labyrinth Cup, and Not Randy Newman took that out outright. So always a really tough one to take out. Not Randy Newman's fantastic battler, has been probably underrated as well over the last few seasons, but absolutely nailed that one. And congratulations to him, really happy for him.
And now I'd like to introduce a special guest this week, our first guest we've had on the podcast, who is from PvP Aotearoa. Hopefully I pronounced that right. And he is Yusei. I don't know if I actually pronounced your name right. I struggle more with your name than the actual Discord server. Can you maybe just introduce yourself, tell us what your role is and what the server is PvPA all about?
Okay, so hi guys, I'm TJ, or better known as Yusei. PvPA is pretty much a space made by our lovely couple in Hamilton by the name of Tash and Dave. They started the server with the intention of pretty much bringing together everyone across the country to perform in lobbies, get together, just enjoy a bit of PvP and community work.
Yeah, fantastic. Listen, we know those guys have put some great work into building that server and the work they do around building up PvP in New Zealand. And we've had a bit of a chat recently, Yusuf, around the work that you yourself do and your philosophy around encouraging new battlers, how you, I guess, help people and help to grow PvP. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So yes, you could say I coach. Coaching is my thing. I do love to help current good battlers as well as new up and coming, the more important ones. I view them as the more important people because technically without more numbers coming through, where are our tournaments going to be filled? So that's where that philosophy pretty much comes from. As for the coaching aspect of me helping people, it's more or less a voice to help those. Like I know plenty of people who are really good at battling, but sometimes it helps to have a second pair of eyes or opinion while they battle, and then I turn more into just a viewer / helper during rather than a coach because some people kind of don't like the pressure of it, which is fun. I haven't been coaching for too long. I'd say about 6-7 months. But I'm loving it, and I'll keep doing it till, I guess, until.
That's so great. It's great that you love it so much. And I think what I really admire about it is that you're so giving of your time and obviously spending a lot of time helping people. And we don't sort of we see a little bit of that in the community, and it's started to grow, but haven't necessarily seen that generosity, particularly early on in the PvP scene. It was sort of a lot more, people were very, I think we were talking about people could be quite guarded about their knowledge because they wanted to maintain that edge, and you're not about that at all. Your philosophy is a lot more around sharing and growing PvP to improve the scene for everybody, which I really admire, and I think that's something we really need to adopt in Australia as well.
Yeah, I approach it like that, just so rather than having the usual good players that we'd normally see in lobbies usually take out the first 1, 2, 3, or 4 spots, it's always nice to see up and coming come through and potentially sweep a cup, their first cup ever. And there's a lot of good players in there. And the only thing that's been holding back is this bit of information.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few of the elite or more elite battlers do technically hold on to. But at the same time, those that aren't as skilled in their eyes feel they can't really approach someone and ask those type of questions. When they can, they probably could.
Yeah.
But out of nerves or, I guess, monarchy, they kind of shy away from it.
No, that's really good. It's very much in its infancy, but we have just started doing something similar on Arena Australis, where we've got a PvP help and advice channel that we've started up. We've had some amazing people step up and say, hey, I really want to help these guys and share what I know and support them. So we've actually got a great group of supporters. Stumpy's one of them, who are there to do battles, give advice, answer questions and that sort of thing for people who, you know, have put their hand up and have been brave enough to say, hey, I really would like some help with this. So just putting the word out there to everyone on Arena Australis that you just let us know if you'd like to join that channel. We have a good time in there. We're just starting out, but it's a great opportunity to get your practice in and ask some of those questions that perhaps you can't find the information anywhere, or you don't know who else to ask. 100% agree. And then there's also the work that you do. So we sort of touch more on tournaments, but I know that you do GBL coaching as well. And we touched a little bit in our discussions on people striving to get to Legend, which is obviously something that particularly I think last season a lot more people were able to do and able to achieve. And I know you supported some people to do that. And how important it is to continue to bring the new players on in that arena as well, because of, you know, if there weren't the players coming through, Legend wouldn't be a thing. You've got to have, you know, players that are still coming through, and no point being a Legend if you're the only person that's playing. So got to keep encouraging people so they enjoy it. So yeah, that's just great work.
Yeah, so thanks to you, Say. Shout out PvPA, and it's a really good place to go and hone your skills as well as AA. So it's really good to have the guys across the Tasman to help out, and appreciate him coming on and having a chat, and really showing his passion for coaching and for PvP itself. So we'll move on from there. Okay, so factions. So we've had a bit of a quiet month of not much going with factions and waiting on Sylph to see where we go. What's your thoughts, Bamble? What's happening with factions?
Yeah, so you're right. There hasn't really been anything since that first invitational. And initially, I've got this feeling of people saying, oh, I've got to get my teams together, because, it's a team of 8, 1 reserve, 7 active players. And some people saying, oh, let's start getting our teams, building them so that we're ready to go. Firstly, there's been nothing to actually go for just yet. So we can all put a pause on that for the time being and work out what we want. But also, one of the things that a lot of people didn't realize is this isn't like just you enter a team of 8 into a 1-month tournament and then you come out of it and you get into a new team the month after. My understanding is it's meant to be for the whole season. So it does make sense for everyone to sort of get a bit of a better understanding of how factions is going to work. I'm wondering if either of you two, maybe we'll go to Claire first. Have you given any thought into joining a faction at all? Have you spoken to anyone or made any preparation for your faction, if at all?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I have joined a team. I've joined a team called Team Dragonclaw. apart from that, not really sure. We haven't really talked about who would play what role or how that would pan out, and I'm very, very keen to see what Sylph has in mind or what's going to pan out, because I'm not really fully understanding. I get it. It sounds exciting and interesting, but I'm not fully understanding what the plan is. So wait and see, I guess, for me.
And Stumpy, any movements on your end?
Yeah, we've got a sort of tentative plan for. We're potentially going to have 2 teams from our local. So we've got the Wollongong, my area. Hopefully get 2 teams together. So we're sort of up in the air of which one we're going to join and how we're going to do. If we're going to go for an A team and a B team, or mix and match and try to help each other out, as well as the little bit of the competitive side of. I know our tournaments are very, very competitive. We've got a bunch of players like myself that are very competitive and like to get a little bit of bragging rights to the live tournaments. So it'll be nice to see how we go with that. But again, it's sort of hard to fully commit to anything because we just don't know. We just got no idea what the plan is, and the format itself. I do like the idea of the Ultra Master being included in that to sort of give it a little bit of a new dimension to Sylph to get away from Great League a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be a fun format, and nothing beats a good team tournament.
Yeah, I'd absolutely agree. As you would all know, big fan of team tournaments, having run a couple on the server so far. So I'm going to actually break some news here on the podcast, and that is that we are planning a practice factions tournament for Arena Australis, and it's going to be based by lobby. So each of the 4 lobbies, we're hoping to put together a team of just 7, so no reserve this time around, to enter into basically you play against every single other lobby, and then we will keep the points together and work out how it goes from there. Just to give everyone a taste for it, and if you like your lobby teammates and you want to make them your actual faction, fantastic. If you just want to get a taste for it, since we don't have anything yet, we're hoping to get that through for Arena Australis. So get the hype train ready, and we'll have more details as time progresses.
All right, we'll move on to Draft League. So hopefully, when I get my act together, we're going to start organising a Draft League for Arena Australis. And unsure of the complete format so far, but I know that the Draft League sort of a format that I think is really underrated. I really, really love what they do over at the Pogo Raid server, where they run seasons of, shortish seasons of Draft League, where you get to sort of battle in any league you want, Premier, Open, if it's Master and Ultra, and then Great League as well. So it's an awesome format. So hopefully we're going to bring that to the AA server as soon as possible, and hopefully get some good numbers for that and a bit of hype around that. So pretty excited to see how that goes. And then we'll move into a bit of a chat on the new GBL season, I believe. Claire.
Yeah, so the new season has kicked off. We're still in those early stages where you're just kind of working your way through ranks 1 to 20, and I guess it's looking very similar to last season so far. What sort of differences are you seeing? We might go to UC.
For now, it's kind of up in the air for the meta. A lot of people do follow Streamline, so they'll either run a streamer's team, a YouTuber's team, or a team that they've been told by a friend, which is pretty much how most seasons go. If a line goes well for a day, that information usually gets shared to a friend, then they run the line and see how they go, so on, so on. For now, there is no move adjustment, so
yeah,
it's still kind of the same.
Yeah, there was talk of move adjustments, but we haven't seen anything yet. I think everyone's hanging out to see what might be coming. Has anyone got any thoughts on what they'd like to see change? Stumpy, I feel like you've got something in mind.
Yeah, I think it'd be good. I think they will do the mid-season shake-up this time with, big 90-day. Is it 90-day season? I may be wrong there. Or 60-day season. I don't even know. I've forgotten completely.
Yeah,
I believe it's 93 months. Yeah, so we've got a lot of days to go. So we've got heaps of time. So I dare say it will be a mid-season, mash up, a bit of a meta spice up, which would be good. I'd like to see, but personally for me, I think Mudshot might be one that I sort of want to see a little bit of a nerf to, or a bit of a change.
Yeah, I've been hearing
just because you've got, even though they nerfed, Rock Slide got a nerf, but the Stunfisk, Polytoad, those sort of Swampert, there's so many mons there with Mudshot that are just, almost tearing apart the meta, and just they seem to be, maybe not the most overpowered, but it does seem to be a move that may require a bit of a balance. So I wouldn't mind seeing Mudshot, and that would be probably my preference. I can see everyone's up in arms about Charm and Razor Leaf. So they've had a little bit of a nerf, but for Razor Leaf, but I think that they might make a little bit of an adjustment there as well. But not that I personally think it's that needed. But I think Kanto Cup,
No.
I think Kanto Cup kind of soured a lot of people on Charm, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean they're annoying, but they're still counterable, aren't they? And they just it's just a different aspect, I guess, or a different way to play that it brings to the game.
Absolutely.
The change that I'd like to see is actually not a move change, but making XL Candy a little bit easier to get. And the thing for me is I still don't have a Sableye or Medicham close to 1500 CP. I just don't have the XL Candy. I've got an Abomasnow for Ultra League. And one of the things that's concerning for me is that we were supposed to get guaranteed XL Candy for legendaries as of March 1 was my assumption.
Yep.
That's still not the case. We were supposed to get XL Candy dropping from our buddies, and I don't think that's currently implemented. The one thing that I have noticed a bit more is the Pokemon that you get in GBL, and I do like the pool of Pokemon that you can get. It's not that like list of 20 Pokemon anymore. It's 5 or 10, and they're mostly meta relevant. They give you a lot more XL Candy now, so I'm actually liking that. I feel like I'm enjoying playing GBL a lot more now. I'm not just doing it to rank up or to keep my rank. I feel like there is some benefit to it from the XL Candy of winning 3 battles out of my set of 5, but it's still very hard to get. And unless Niantic is going to keep, that, Master League Classic, for example, going for forever and ever, which they don't because it's not run every single time. You can't get Master League Classic when you have all of the what do they call it, the metas together at the end of the
end. Yeah.
season. That to me is an issue, and changing the moveset doesn't fix that.
Yeah.
100%. It's just I think it's good. It's a good step in the right direction for the XL Candy, but I do think that there's definitely ways they could be. It does give more incentive, but I do think there should be slightly easier. But the grind's there for a reason. So I think that as hard as they are to get, I think that it's not too far away from a nice happy medium. I think, but I think there's a couple of extra little things they could sort of spice up to make it, especially the trading. Trading's a good way of doing it. I really like when it was obviously it was a bit easy when you're you could see how many XL Candy you can get from the trade when it was in the trade screen. Made it a little bit easier to do, but I think now bringing that sort of thing, they've announced that it's going to happen. It hasn't quite happened yet, but I think the sooner that happens, the better, and it sort of allows the the grinders to play and compete with. I noticed a lot of I don't use the spoofers, but the players that would go on there and you'd have teams full of XL Skarmory, Galvantula, and it's just like, and you'd think there's no way a lot of them can get that without the sort of bonus. So it does sort of separate a little bit from that, as controversial as that topic is. I think that it is a bit of a benefit to those players, to be honest.
Yeah, there is a little bit of that. There's that and the people using scanners to find the best high CP Pokemon, because obviously we know that the high or the boosted ones are the ones where you're more likely to get the extra large. And I think the other little thing that I think could be tweaked a little bit is the fact that to get the boosted CP, obviously it's impacted by the weather. And we all know that we have different weather wherever we are living. And so some people living in certain areas have more likelihood of getting certain more boosted mons, particularly on Community Day. I found March Community Day really frustrating because we didn't have the boost, and then other people in other areas of the world or even the country that happened to have the boost at that time got enough for their extra large. So that to me is a little bit of, whenever you have a competitive space, if you haven't got a level playing field as far as opportunities to get something, then it does start to kind of feel a little bit unfair, and people do get frustrated and unhappy about that. So, and which you can understand.
Same as the Meltem box, isn't it? We never get snow weather here in Australia, so
100%.
boosted Meltem boxes are like, you watch people in the snow and you're like, oh, I would kill for that extra,
extra
5 levels, but it just doesn't sort of happen.
And that's where if they bring in the mythical extra large candies, then that will be resolved, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking to afford to max out my level 50 Mel medal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, really nice.
But I totally agree with Stumpy. It's all about getting that balance. I think it should be a challenge to get XL Candy, but not hatching a Dino level challenge where it's this mythical creature that doesn't exist. So I like things like being able to walk your buddy and get some XL Candy, for example. That to me sounds about right. I'm wondering if we can go to Yusei if you have any thoughts on this.
Yeah. In regards to everything that's been said, yeah, the XL grind is tedious without boosted weather. A lot of us tend to try and focus on nested mons, but even then, that grind also is still tedious without boosted weather.
Mm.
Ways they could improve it, honestly, if they actually kept to their word as they intended, then things would be fine. But we can't hope too much, or else we would all be very sad people.
All right, good stuff. We'll move on. All right, leaderboard chat. Some big movements for this month, Claire. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so the one that stands out to me, obviously right at the top of that list, is Agent Magikarp, our friend who we know is a really top battler, and he's jumped up 7 spaces there to take out #1 spot. So big congrats to Stephen there for that big jump. You have to be happy with that. Dr. Trotter's still sitting on #2. Well, actually, I think he was previously #2 and is.
He's #1, wasn't he?
Oh, really? Okay.
He was. He's dropped down 1 ranking, but looks
He's
of it.
been knocked down. Sorry, Dr. Trotter, about that. Then we've got a few movements up and down. What are your thoughts on those, Stumpy?
Yeah, it's good to see a few fresh names that have moved up a few rankings here and there, and so Gorn's jumped up there. I think he had a good performance in the Colossal. I believe he went 5-1. He was the one person that went down to the eventual winner. So it was a good performance from him. Got himself into the top 10. And it's good to see some fresh names moving up. We've got still top 3s. I think 1 and 2 have just bumped down to 1 place, so they're hanging out at the top there. So good to see how next month goes and how the Vortex sort of spices it up. You reckon, Bamble?
Yeah, I'm as a New South Welshman, I'm just proud to see that 6 of the top 10 are actually from New South Wales. But more importantly for me, something that does make me quite proud is that a lot of them actually don't come from Sydney. They come from those regional places like Newcastle or the Central Coast or Stumpy. I don't know if you're still on the top 10 or you.
No, I think I'm 12 or 13 now. Dropped down this month.
Oh, no.
Nothing to look about that.
Nothing for Wollongong there this month, unfortunately.
Can't get my Gong representation. That's all right. We had a bit of fun. It's good. It was good. I really enjoyed that tournament. It was just I got undone in the Colossals 4-0, and then Not Randy Newman put me in my place, and then I got absolutely slapped in the final round. So it was a very competitive tournament. I've missed the Colossal, so it was good to get back into it for the first time of the season. I'll definitely be doing the one that starts tomorrow, or the sign-ups are tomorrow, I believe, and check-ins. So I'm keen and hopefully get a 7-rounder. I'd be really excited to get a 7-rounder going for this one. So it's good to see a couple of 6-rounders in a row, and then push for that extra number. The extra round would be lovely.
Yeah, speaking of a possible 7-rounder, Vortex Colossal Cup, I think it's time to have a look at the Colossal Cup. So friend of the podcast, PvP Steve, did this fantastic infographic, and you can see his ugly mug there on the top right. Very effective looking YouTuber right there. We all, of course, love PvP, Steve, and his Microsoft Paint created infographics. I am having a little bit of trouble seeing this one on my small screen, so I might pass over to either Claire or Stumpy to talk through this, if either of you two can see it a little bit more clearly.
I don't think anyone would assume that I could see it more clearly than you. I have studied it a little bit though. So I mean, we've got Steve's usual beautiful squiggly lines going everywhere, but I think what most people would agree is that we've got some really key mons that are already sort of showing up with any practice you might have been doing, and Frostlass being one of them. I think I did see something today about the Frostlass primate core being just a nightmare to build around, as in to build to combat. Any thoughts on that, Stumpy?
It's just it's a interesting sort of meta. I'm just not sure. Like I said, I haven't really dove really into it. I do love any cup with Frostlass is my bit of a jam. Do love there's been a couple of graphics for Frostlass for GBL as well, so it's good to see that Frostlass getting a little bit of attention, and it's one of those mons that good as a save swap, good as a closer. It's just such a strong Pokemon, and especially in a meta like this where it's not got a whole lot of threats that are sort of. That's surprising though, seeing Dragonair wins the matchup with it as well. So there's a couple of pushing
That's
a little.
really shocked me as well, actually, that a
Mm.
dragon type would win there. But I think what's key with Frostlace, if you look at the rankings, I think it's perhaps not even in the top 10, might be number 11, if I recall correctly. However, with Frostlace, as we know, it's not so much about the head-to-head rankings. It's about bringing it in as that safe swap and getting those few powder snows advantage. And then it's, as long as it's shielded, it's just so destructive. So yeah, that's what we've seen in the past anyway, and it's what I'm seeing in practice at the moment.
Yeah, I think Sorcerer's Cup was where it really shone super bright last season. Was a cup where you wouldn't mind going down, losing a matchup that you could then farm down with Frostlass, and there was nothing really in that meta that really wanted to eat any fast move. Just Shadow Ball and Avalanche, just super good coverage. The only thing I think there was only really, I think it was Bibarel was the spicy mom people were bringing to try to give it a little bit of a wall. But even with Avalanche, still hit the thing so hard. So it's like I said, I think this month's probably, it's not quite as strong as it was in Sorceress, but it's still super oppressive mon, and shields. If you get anywhere near shields down with it or a huge energy advantage, it just can tear through a team.
Yeah, anyway, as Bamboss mentioned, we've got all of our lobbies starting up this week, and Colossal starts first because, of course, we have to make sure we've got plenty of time to fiddle our rounds in, because we usually get a really good turnout for Colossal. What we're really pushing for this month is to try and get a 7-rounder. So we've had consistent 6-rounders the last few months, which is great. We just want to get those extra few entrants in to get to a 7-rounder. So putting the reminder out, putting the call out to everyone on Arena Australis. This is your time to join. Let's get in there and get a 7-rounder. It'd be great for Australia, great for Australian PvP. I think you're going to join this time, you said, which would be amazing. I'm putting the pressure on you, putting it on the record.
Yeah, I'll join.
So yeah, I think we're going to hopefully have a few known names in there that will really raise the profile and raise the standard, and it'll be a great opportunity for Australian PvP. So get in or miss out.
Most definitely.
All right. Thanks very much for that, Claire. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning into this month's Arena Australis podcast. We've been joined this month by our regulars, Claire and Stumpy, and our special guest, Yusei. Dr. Trott has been our producer in the production nook in the background. My name is Bamboss. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next month.
Cheers, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.